I have yet a lot of things to uncover from what's happened the last few months. But what I can tell you is that my world changed. And it was proof that it is possible to change everything in more ways than you can possibly imagine. So as I came home, I've been trying to reflect on this, to see what I can do in order to do it justice, to pay it forward, to allow other people to have that same sensation, same feeling. And that's very much what it is all about. It's the feeling. That next iteration of good energy that just brings you something more to life. Makes you feel alive. Makes you feel ready to just embrace life in the most spectacular, amazing way possible. Because of that, I created my own journey, or as I like to call it, I call it SAGA. And I want to share that with you today, right now, even though it is 4:50 a.m. and I haven't slept, and I just came home from an adventure. I'm still allowing those visions and clarity to just settle. I feel so inspired to just continue the journey, to just get to it, make it happen. This is a major step in that direction. I will introduce to you now something that has completely shifted my reality. And it's deceptively simple. And it is just a small taste of the first thing that waits on the other side of making a commitment. And the first commitment is simply just watching this video. So if you're enjoying this so far, we have a fucking hell of a journey ahead of us. I will talk about something that has been a little taboo, a little woo-woo, and a little ooh. I don't know where I was going with that. People have been talking about it in very many different ways. And today I want to just recount my story of how this works for me. And I do believe that for you who are ready to hear this, it will ring so freaking true. You will feel this. This is going to be an adventure. Let's talk about how to manifest. See, now I'm just picturing all the minds just, what? What did he do? Did he just bring me into that? What? Manifesting? That is so hippie. That is so woo-woo. That's also why it's quoted. How to manifest. I've been talking a lot to my dad lately. The last few, I would say year, maybe two. After my son started school, I've been hanging around in the garage that we built together. And we've been sharing stories and just getting to know each other on a deeper level. And it has been amazing. It really has. There's a local bakery that actually has provided us with VIP cups. They bought those especially for us because as a joke in passing, we said that how cool would it be to have VIP cups. The next time we were there, they greeted us with 2 VIP cups. And we've just become a staple in this bakery where we just sit around talking about life. They even have these tastes that the samples that they give us so that we can qualify it for being sold in a store. Like that, it's just an amazing story altogether. So I'm not going to go through all the stories like that, but me and my dad, we built that garage together. That is very special to see the memories on the wall and to think back to the wall that you put on the finger of your father's friend. Not knowing why he was yelling so high, so loud. It was a very huge adventure, but the point is, we started to talk about things and I started to share my goals with my dad, and I have a goal about building a human holistic development center called Valhalla. Going to incorporate a whole bunch of things that is not incorporated in today's mental health system or anywhere as far as I've seen, and I have not really done a lot of market research because I would rather do what I feel like doing instead of doing what I was told to do based on the data and some soulless endeavor into figuring out what's profitable. If that makes sense. I wanted to create something because it really fucking inspired me. And that has now become Valhalla, and it's just continuing to grow. I wish I prepared that story, because then I could have a picture of Valhalla, and you would be freaking stoked. Let's just keep that cliffhanger for another time. But in order to get there, in order to just have that vision and that thing, that goal, that reward at the end, not even at the end, it's like the beginning of the new chapter. That's the amazing thing about it. It's so huge. It trumps most things that I've had in my life, apart from my children. It's huge. But to get there, I needed to have goals. I think the goals are one of the key ingredients to manifesting, because if you don't have goals, you don't know where you're going. It's as easy as that. I'm not going to go into details because I have a whole thing planned out for you. I just hope it's going to be half as cool as I pictured it when I created it. But we also need a vision to where we want to go, so that we can see clearly where we're going, so that we can really get to know our place of future arrival, I guess. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, then how are you going to find it? You need to see it. And then we have the emotion, the emotional investment that makes it all possible. The fancy thing about this as well is that these three work in unison, yet they work each at his own. Each part is not the sum of its part, the complete thing. All of these things works on its own, and while you're combining these, it becomes a tool of immeasurable transformation. But it doesn't really work if you don't have the plan. I could have gone a whole bunch more into emotion, because that's basically how I changed my entire reality when I saw myself as frequency. But that is also a story down the line for when we get to that chapter, which is still not created. That's the exciting part about this. And then the plan. Knowing where to go, how to get there, what to prepare for, all these things, and doing it. Actually doing it. Because if you have all these things, it doesn't matter. You can have a goal and not tell anyone, but it's nothing's gonna happen. You can have a vision and be fantasizing about this as much as you want. And you can be as emotionally invested as you please. Like, you can feel horny when you're thinking about this. But if you don't have a plan to put it into action and do the thing, it's going to be hard for it to kind of magically materialize on a pink cloud with rainbow farts. It has to be done, you know? That's where most people struggle, I believe. I think that's where most people struggle. That's where I struggle the most, just doing the thing. That's why I'm doing this thing. This is just part of my plan, you know? And all this is going to make sense, because all of this is going to lead to the dream. Oh, you didn't see that coming, now, did you? All this leads into the dream manifestation that you want. And it is way more simpler than one might think, but it's not easy. Right? It's simple, not easy. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. And I have a feeling this is just the beginning of the adventure, because seriously, this is the second slide and I'm already 10 minutes into the video. So luckily, I knew that I was a blabbermouth. I knew that I was going to talk a lot, so I had prepared myself. Let's go into this, shall we? Look at that, it just became better. How? Well, there was actually a limitation on implementing it. But let's start by talking about the goal, because we need them goals, right? What is a goal? Many people that I talk to do not have goals. And it's a scary amount of people that don't have goals. And I think that if you don't, then you're going to have a hard time figuring out what to do in your current situation if you don't really love it at this moment. So if you don't have a goal, where are you going? You can have the fanciest car, but if you don't have a GPS, odds are that you're going to run out of gas before you reach the destination. If you have a beat up car and a GPS and a goal, it's just a matter of how much charm is in that old beetle. You know, how much will it persist? Will it fight for you? Well, only time will show because it's an adventure waiting to happen. Where to begin? Well, just think about it. Where do you want to go? If you don't think about it, it's going to be hard to do anything about it. And only you can answer that question. Don't give a rat's flying ass about what other people think. If they have a plan, everyone has a plan for your life. Funny how that works, right? This music is really putting me off, kind of, but it's interesting. Let's just go with it. Let's go with the flow. It's going to be hard to do your life based on what other people's life's experience tell them to tell you how to live yours. Make sense? So I guess begin by just seeing where you want to go. Start to dream a little bit. Think about those huge things that are just impossible to reach, and then just start to ponder. All of a sudden you're going to see that something, some weeds in a pathway that you didn't even know existed, just became visible just ahead of you. You just have to do that little thing and walk off the path and just try to see if it leads somewhere. Doesn't take a lot. It can take very surprisingly little. We're going to talk about all that. But nowhere to go. Start dreaming. As I said, maybe I didn't, but Valhalla, it's going to be like 9 centers because Yggdrasil, the life tree of the Norse mythology, has 9 worlds, 9 dimensions. My daughter is named Yggdrasil, like her middle name. And I figured if I'm going to have one center called Valhalla, which is kind of technically not a part of the worlds in Yggdrasil, but that doesn't, maybe I need 10 then. Then 10 different human, holistic, maybe even psychedelic aided personal development centers around the world. And that is just scraping the very tip of the top of the snowflake on top of a mountain that is so much more bigger than Mount Everest. It's not even this reality. But it started with a field and a small fire. A bonfire where you can meet as friends and share ideas and just enjoy that feeling. So my goal became to have that more, and that just added to each other. And we are going to get into how that kind of just goes into domino effect, but I'm guessing I just told you. So let's continue the adventure. Why have goals? Because of everything that I just said. You need to know where you're going. And if you do, you're going to get inspired and shit. And maybe even talk about it so that your dream comes into the world and all of a sudden the right person hears it and bam! There are so many reasons to why you should have a goal. There's growth as well. But I'm going to get to all of that on the actual goal thingy. Because this is just covering where we're going to go. Smart goals. Those smart, measurable, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. See, I think I remembered it, but we're going to go into that. And then some tools that you can use on the way there. And I'm pretty stoked about that because that's already a lot. And we have been speaking for 15 minutes. See, this is also a lesson to me because I'm going to have to see how long it takes me to go through presentations and different things and these videos that I want to create inside of Saga and the Legacy Forge. So this is going to give me a whole bunch of insights. Thank you for joining me on that little journey. Also, if I didn't even mention the tools, I have visual representations that flies in a very artistic manner. But we're going to talk about that. I've been doing this for a long time now. So I have more stuff that I thought I had, and they're all just waiting for me to start to actually do something about them. But let's disregard the fact that I forgot the sequence of animations. Let's hope that I did actually do something on the next one, because I was planning so much drama, but maybe it's part of the thing. I shouldn't be that dramatic. Maybe there's a sign from the universe. Where to begin? A skill inventory. You heard it here first, I hope. If you didn't, well, it's still a freaking amazing word. Figure out what you love doing. Because if you know what you want to do, if you really love what you're doing, then you're going to feel like doing that all the time. It's like normal to want more of the good emotions, right? So what do you love doing? And why are you not doing more of that? Because I don't know how many times I've heard people saying like, I love painting, or I love playing the guitar, or I love this and that and that and this and XYZ. But I don't have time for that anymore. Actually.
I don't have time for that anymore.
You have time for anything that you put your time to.
That could have been better. Improvement. We're going to make improvements. What would you do, even if you didn't get paid for it? I hope that you didn't. You just skipped to the end, didn't you? You have read all of the things that we're going to cover on this slide. Well, then you're going to be happy to know that there are more. If you could have done anything, and you just love it so much that it doesn't matter if you get paid, you would just do it. Even if nobody watched you, you would be doing it. You would be painting on a wall in the depth of darkness somewhere in a big-ass blank canvas. Situation building. Who knows? Whatever you want to do, whatever you really love doing, something that you're good at. Like, at the last point, I just jumped the gun, didn't I? Those two should be shifted around, I see, because if you had everything you needed, what would your day look like? It's a very good end for that slide, don't you think? Let's just jump over that. What are you good at? What do people come to you for? Like, for me, it is always something in graphics, tech support. I am being called about Google a lot. Lately, I've been seen as the crazy person who's talking about AI and its potential and possibility to both liberate and destroy humankind. A whole bunch of things. People come to me for the technical stuff. And also the experiences. Because I do consider myself a pretty good conversationalist. I do like to enjoy those energy waves and just flow into the conversations and not even knowing where we're going. But those are the things that I know that I'm good at because I've been thinking hard about what am I good at. Why do people come to me? You have a passion. You have something that your interests is higher in than the next man, right? If you go into YouTube, what does your history look like? Google, what do you search for? And let's not talk about the not safe for work kind of things that we search for. Let's talk about the things that you do because you are bored or you want to just chill or you want to just zone out, whatever it is. For me, lately, it has been a whole bunch about AI. A whole bunch. Like, I need to consciously look for new things to search for because the algorithm, which we all know and love, thank you, Facebook, has this tendency of feeding me whatever I have been looking at. So it just deems that I want to watch what it feeds me. You have to be really conscious about what you don't want to see and what you do want to see, and then just search for that. For me, it's still AI, or just small things to improve my skill in web design, or whatever it is. If I want to get better at my craft and something I love doing, I look for YouTube videos. And probably I think most people do. So if you have something that you have been looking for, that you have been learning, that you've been studying, that you've been fascinated about, that you've been kind of grossed out about, whatever it is, there is something that you know better than the common person. Just be honest with yourself. What are you actually good at? What do you do when nobody's watching? Something is forming in you. Think about that. And then when you have those things, what would you do when you're not getting paid for it? What are you actually good at? What do you love doing? And then now we switch that next to last question and we ask that now as icing on the cake. If you had everything you needed, material, wealth and all, there's nothing in this planet, universe, galaxy, whatever that you need. You have everything. Time. Fuck all the things that is keeping you back right now in this current reality and think about what you would do if you could do anything. Anything at all. What does your day look like? How do you get up? When do you get up? What does it smell like? What are you dressed as? What is the view like from the bedroom? Do you have a bedroom? Is it a van? Is it a tent? Is it a freaking hammock? Is it a huge villa on top of a mountain volcano in some desert island in the Pacific Ocean? Tried to combine desert and island there in one go. I think I... What does it look like? Really go crazy on this. Because that's when you're starting to see ideas. Because if I feed you an image, if I get you to think about what it could be like, and I start to make sense when I'm speaking, and I'm like giving you ideas about how this could actually be possible, and that it's all up to you and all that stuff, all of a sudden it's good to have somewhere to go because you're going there. There's no avoiding it. It's just one of those feelings. You cannot avoid it. You're just going to continue on that path to learn how to reach a next iteration of the energy. That's fascinating. Oh, I did fuck up. I should have done something on this. Look. Oh, no. Yeah, I have to fix the animations on that, but hey, this is why we're doing this trial run, right? Why do you have goals? Well, to get clarity on what to do and when to do it, of course, but that is not really for the goal. That is more for the plan, which is to the next level, next, left. So, but it is also just to know that in this, around this year, somewhere here, this is where I have a goal to do this and that and this. We're going to get to SMART goals and all that stuff with the time bounds, but you know, it's providing clarity and it's providing a why for the journey ahead. A why is a powerful thing. Did you know? Yes, you do, because you probably heard of an airplane before. That the Wright brothers were bicycle repairmen. You know? At the beginning of December 1907, humans could not fly. But by the 27th, I believe, or the 24th, whatever, in December, they flew with a freaking bicycle plane. They took off from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Kitty Hawk, Carolina? It's a field. And my geography is off. But there was another dude who had all the money and all the fame. He was sponsored by the government. And there's a reason why I have forgotten his name. Because he was doing all these jetpack fuel engine thingies to create a man-made, of course it's man-made, a manned aircraft. There we go. Good job, brain. So he had all the resources, but he failed miserably. What do you think his why was? What was his goal behind this? I think his why was just to achieve fame and then be the first person in history to fly a manned plane. But these guys, these two brothers from Kitty Hawk, well, they just wanted to fly. And I can freaking understand that. I can resonate with that. So they did whatever they could to reach that goal. They had a why. A strong one. I want to fly. So what is your why? You know? Think about that, because that is huge. If you think about what really matters to you, why you want what you want, and then go 7 layers into that. I didn't prepare a slide for that, but if you have something, let's say that you want money. Well, why do you want money? Hold on. Let my mouth configure or reconfigure. Why do you want money? Because when you have money, what will you do? It's probably not the money that you're after, it's the feeling or the experience that money can provide. And what is money, other than right now, digital freaking numbers on a screen that you can copy paste, more or less. And what is money when you think about the whole technology and how everything is shifting today? You want the feeling. So why do you want more money? And then you might say something that you really didn't expect, because why do I want my things, the things that I need? But if you go 7 layers deep and you just keep asking yourself, why? Why do you want that? Well, why is that important to you? And at 7 levels, just something happens, I think. Because then you are all of a sudden at the core. And why do you want more money could all of a sudden have become because I want to prove that I am worth it to my parents. You know, something in your core is driving you, and just figuring out what that is. You know, what irks you? What annoys you? Where do your values get trampled on? And why do you allow that to happen? You know, think about the why. Because if you uncover the biggest one, you're not going to have a living snowball's chance in hell to avoid hitting your goals. Because you can be dragged through hell, naked, barefooted, and chained behind your back, and you will smile because it's just one of those milestones that you're going to get through on your way to your goal. Your why is stronger than the pain. The discomfort is far less than the fulfillment you feel of actually achieving what you're doing. So when the pain is outnumbered or overshadowed by the feeling of the results and achieving that goal, then you're unstoppable. You can't be stopped. You'd just be sadistic if you did, because you're going to feel worse if you don't do the thing. Most people do. They feel like shit. They don't do anything about it. They wonder why their habits are to shit, why they eat unhealthy, why they feel bad, why they are thinking negatively, why they feel like people just don't understand. All these different things, because we are not speaking our truth. Why? Why are we not just honest about things? I believe that through lens of love, just the perspective of love and not harming people and setting your own boundaries and all that stuff, can enforce your why. Just removing blocks in the river, if you know what I mean, and just you are able to flow. And when you're able to flow, that's a fucking energy that is worth reckoning with, because, you know, stay clear. You cannot stop someone who's fueled like that, because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You would die for that cause. That's the power of why. Read The Power of Why by Simon Sinek. Amazing, amazing dude. And then growth and expansion, of course, because with this drive and with this tenacity and all that stuff, this discipline, all the habits, all the things that is going to come from you just being driven by ethereal forces of the universe, all those things, it's forcing you into new situation of expansion, new insights, new experiences that's just going to continuously grow. And you're developing at a rate that you probably did not know existed. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff in terms of what could be possible. What could, I'm saying could, because I'm still at the point where I want at least 100 people to say that they understand what I mean when I say these things, so that I know that I'm not the only one, right? Until then, I'm not going to say anything that it's like this, but it feels like it. And you're going to see very soon. So let's jump to the next one, right? SMART goals. Navigating the storm. Okay, there we go. Now that, see, I need to fix the animations because it takes me out of the flow. But let's jump to the next one. We are at SMART goals. And these are not something that I have done myself, but it is a proven process. It is something that I know works, but I have been too stupid or lazy or just not really realized that I need to do it. So I don't do it. And maybe you can relate. Who knows? Do you feel like you should have done something, but you didn't? Either way, let's go through it, because it makes a lot of sense. And I think that in some way, we all have some sort of a SMART goal. Like, we are following some of the principles, and if we just know about all of them, maybe we can just implement that, and all of a sudden, bam, there we go. It's good. S. Specific. State what you will do and use action words. That means, by this day, I will do what? I have been telling myself to do things this month because I'm currently at, the final 9 days of the lifetime access for Saga. I think it's a freaking amazing deal, which means that I'm shouting it from the rooftops, and if people don't hear it throughout June, it's on me, right? So I have specific goals to get those out there before 1st of July. So that's what I'm doing. Tomorrow, I'm creating video. I'm posting that here and there. I'm creating content for this. I'm spreading awareness for that. Specific. And I'm saying I am on this date, so that I know that I'm doing this at this time. It's not something that I'm just saying, I wish that happened. Because, again, it kind of falls into the whole plan stage of this, but, do the thing. Don't just say that you want to do it. Walk the talk. Measurable. And this is also, there's a lot of things that you cannot measure, like happiness or freedom. And that is sometimes in marketing as well. If people are selling something, they might say, I'll make you happy. What the fuck is happiness? And how individual isn't that? If you are saying that I will increase your happiness, when do you know that you've increased it? Well, that's probably pretty simple to know that you become happier, but you don't know by how much, right? So I think a happy claim is not a measurable claim. That's my point. If you use data like the number of people who have done this, this, and that, or how much money you have in the bank compared to your goal, or all these things that you can actually track. Like if I need $100 and I'm $70 there, I know that I just have 30% left of my goal and then I have achieved it. So, metrics and targets. There are many ways, especially now when we have the amazing power of AI that is currently looming to destroy us. You can use that to, figure out ways to put down a measuring system. Be resourceful with the resources we have. And they're free, by the way. Achievable, within your scope, and possible to accomplish and attain. So don't do something like, don't say that you're going to be Tony Robbins, because that's probably not going to happen by next Tuesday. But if you do something that is putting you towards a goal, Tony Robbins, coincidentally, also said that we underestimate what we do. We overestimate what we do in a year. We underestimate what we can do in 10. So just taking that step and then just seeing what happens as you go. Then every day you add another brick to that foundation. All of a sudden you see that you've built yourself a freaking mansion, but you didn't really notice it. That's quite a embarrassing moment, actually, towards yourself when you see what you have and you just have been too fucking scared to share it. Speaking from experience here, people. Relevant. It has to be relevant. Makes sense within your job, skill, or life function. Improves the intended vehicle in some way. So this could have been with the business. So if I have a skill, I do something that is relevant to reach the goals within the business, right? If I want to achieve $1 million revenue for a year and I go off, let's just say, knitting cat sweaters in Taiwan. I don't know why I've used that example so many times, but that's a good example because it's so irrelevant to me earning $1 million. Unless I'm really good at knitting cat sweaters. I have never tried, actually. Disregard that last remark. I don't know where my future brings me. But you know what I mean. You're doing something that actually makes sense for what you're trying to achieve. And in my humble opinion, if you do something that you love, and you just continue to learn new things about what you love and just become a master, just become better at it, you're loving what you do and you're getting better at it. And now you can all of a sudden start to help other people with that and then be surprised by how much money people are willing to pay for things that they really want. So all of a sudden, there you go. That's pretty insane because it does not take a lot if people just go out there and show people that they have this thing that they can share with the universe. Time bound. The T in smart. This is something that I suck at. This is the one, the T. Because I've been saying it so long. I've been saying that I'm going to reach that goal. I'm going to do that. But it's like undefined. There's no real date to where I'm going to do it. I'm saying like, I'm going to make a tribe talk every other Monday. Okay, that's cool. But that doesn't really vibe with the whole end date almost of a huge milestone that I could have done many times, which I should do right now. My last deadline was June 1st. And in that month of work, I did 2 years worth of work. So for more or less 2 weeks of implementation, I did the amount of 2 years of work. And that was because I had a deadline. So do not underestimate the power of a deadline. It's pretty insane, to be honest. He says, while still trying to figure out if he should start implementing the deadlines. Let's talk about the tools. This is a thing I was talking about earlier. It is just a resource to get there. And this is something that I have been trying to give to people through a very hard way of getting it to people. Like, I'm horrible at giving people the things in an understandable way. I was horrible because now I have created a system and I'm pretty proud of it. Kinetic learning. So just doing something, if you have a resource and you have something that you're going to fill out, you actually using your hand to write that down is going to help you in learning and just retaining the information that you're taking in, right? And if that information that you're taking in is the concept and the embodiment of your future, then I think it's probably important to value that, to respect that process, to really take time and list out what you need to do. Kinetic learning. And then better intention, because you're going to see more of why you're doing it. It's just going to be more concrete, it's going to be easy to really see the bigger picture, and you're going to see that it is achievable. You just have to do X, Y, Z. And when you start doing those things, your intent is going to just grow because now you're feeling fueled to do it. You're going to start to feel pulled to do it because it's going to get to become somewhat of a calling if you're doing it for the right intention. Clarity of the process ahead. That is a very big one, because if you don't know what you're going to do next week, then it's going to be hard for you to stay consistent in doing the things that you need to do. I also want to challenge you. I will reward the first person who samples out the amount of times I've said do. Just do it, Nothing of this works if you don't do. Probably a whole lot, so I'm going to be interested to see that. But the tools that I have available for you is the Structure Anything tool that I have been using in a book. I wrote an ebook that is called How to Sell Knowledge Online. 6 steps, something, the Norse edition. Really long name, but that was kind of based on what the market and what all the people did. So it's not really something that I have named. I would have called it Ragnarok, probably, but then that became a course. The thing is, How to Structure Anything is basically a resource within that book, one among many other tools, worksheets like target audience worksheet and goals and many things, actually. Avatar. There's a lot of things in there. This one is very, 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 very powerful because it goes through how you're going to go and do the steps. I'm not going to go all the way into this right now because that's a different video in and of itself, but the back slide here says going from arriving at, and this topic is selling online. So to sell online, you need a website, you need to accept payments, you need fundamental pages, you need marketing pages, you need, all these different examples of which steps do you have to do in order to have a website. And then within the different milestones, like set up a website, then go to this internet provider or this website provider, hosting provider rather, and then do this, install WordPress, install the builder, and then just do the steps, follow the recipe. Then you're done with that one step, and then you're one part closer to your dream and your goal, right? So it's very simple, but it's hard to implement. It's like meditation. We don't have time for meditation. That is such
bullcrap.
But you know what I mean. It's just go down there and I'm saying go down there in yourself. Go into yourself. Really figure out, why do you want to do this? Set a goal that is going to be interesting to reach. Make some fun in your everyday life. And see if you can reach it, because it's not that hard. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
It's going to zoom out really fancily. That was okay, I guess. But here... Oh, I didn't remove that. I used that as a template. I used that as a template for this. Vision. This is the next one. This is the big one.
That's what she said.
This is also actually just as big as all the other parts. But in vision, we're going to talk about what is visualization. Visualization. Try to say that 5 times fast. Visualization. Vishu. Thing is, when you visualize, something amazing happens. Your brain does not know the difference between thought and reality, which means that you can visualize something and your brain will effectively think that you are actually going through that thought that you're having. If you can meditate and visualize and really go into a scene, you can actually feel the warmth of the sun you're seeing in your head, feel the breeze, hear the birds, really sense the experience. If you have a very strong visual representation of where you're going, it's going to be damn near impossible to not pick up the signs that is going to lead you towards the dream in the middle. So visualize where you're going. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Google it. Create a visualization. Sit down for a few minutes. Just be inside of your head. I know it's hard. I have a meditation for that. I'm going to probably... That is also inside of SAGA, so you have to get in SAGA to get a guided meditation on how to visualize. See, I have all these things. I can damn near promise you it's going to pop your head straight off. In a good way. It's going to give you an experience, which means that you're going to see that something is possible. This is not just air. I'm just actually saying something that is going to change your entire existence if you act on it. Which in this case is just sitting down for 30 minutes. But this is important. Visualization is hugely important in this whole process. Why does it work? That's something that we're going to talk about. And I have a surprise for you. Not even a surprise. It's bad news, actually. I'm going to bring you some bad news in a very short while. That is the fact that I'm not done. Yes, we're closing in on the end here. I'm going to cover these point by point instead of, earlier I had one slide per point. So let's just try to do this because this did what it was supposed to do. Although, do you know what it's supposed to do? Because I have the freaking... There's a guide right there. Okay, so let's just click through it then. Why does it work? Well, it works because you're communicating with something more than yourself. And when you see where you're going, you're going to know. And you're going to feel good about seeing it. You're going to feel great about just visualizing where you're going. And there's so many things. It works because you're a creative human and you're capable of fantasizing about your own death. We're going to talk a lot about that because have you ever thought about that? what the most influential person that you can think of. Think of their funeral, like when they are being buried. Their funeral reception, probably not the reception, the actual ceremony. How many people showed up to this very influential person's ceremony? Funeral ceremony, death, the final period, you know? And then when you have really thought about how many people do you think that would be? And then what would they feel? What would be said? What would the eulogy be? How would everybody act? All these things, as many details as you can. And then you visualize you being in that coffin. How many people are there now? Mm-hmm. You're capable of influencing a lot of people. And just by your, I know that word got chopped off as I said it. You're able to influence a lot of people. And if you just realize that the pain you've gone through, the experiences, all these stuff, all these things, they have made you you today. So you are possessing wisdom that you don't even realize. If you basically act in your visualization, it will pull you towards where you're going without you even having a chance. So this is something that is going to be a recurring pattern, because a goal is going to be so strong it's going to pull you. A vision is so strong it's going to pull you. The emotional pull is so strong it's going to pull you. And a plan is just going to be so sexy that you just cannot avoid it. And then the dream is going to be inevitable. That's why it works, I guess. That's a bad question for the first question. Some real-time feedback right there. How to practice? Well, how many times do you sit down to just close your eyes? How many times did you meditate this week, past week, this last month, last year? If you just implement, let's say, one meditation this week, I would say that's an improvement if you've never done it before. So how to practice? By doing it. By sitting down and meditating. There's a lot of resources online. I have 4 published meditations within the Legacy Forge, and they're probably going to come. A whole bunch more is going to come, because now I'm experiencing things in meditation that I didn't think was possible. So I think that there's a way to really take it to the next level. That's going to be interesting to behold. But yeah, how to practice, just do. What to expect. Holy shit. That I should have thought about that. That's a question that you really don't want to answer, because you never should have expectations. But I guess you can feel better in the fact that you know where you're going. So more emotionally stable every days, like your emotional stability is probably going to improve. Your clarity of mind is going to improve because you know where you're going. And I guess you can just expect a new reality, a new paradigm, because if you've never done it before, odds are that you're going to experience a whole bunch of things that you never even considered to be real. And I'm not saying that as I think that is the least you can expect, because if you've never done something, then of course you're going to see things with fresh eyes. Do it with the whole, genuine curiosity to face the unknown and meeting the fear. Because if you go through those, you have a better chance. This is an entire chapter in Saga where you're meeting your fear. You're facing your fear, you're crossing the bridge of bravery, as it were, and you're conquering your demons. That is probably one of the big ones. I probably should have prefaced that. I don't know if it did, actually. This is just something that came before the chapter. So this has not even started on chapter 1, which I hope and will work towards being even better than this. Because I think that this is pretty good already. I like this. Do you like this? He says as if he's expecting a result or a answer. That's basically what you can expect. That little rant I had just there. And now comes a very interesting part that I'm going to read way more up on, because, as I said, there's this slide, maybe even multiple slides per point. But the Gospel of St. Thomas, that's interesting. Have you ever heard of the Nag Hammadi library? The library in Nag Hammadi? I believe that's a thing. The Gospel of St. Thomas is basically papers that were found inside of urns in a cave in Nag Hammadi in Middle East. In Cairo, I believe, or in Egypt. The people who found it wanted to burn it to keep warm on the fire. I'm just paraphrasing here. I'm just saying things as I recall it from the top of my head. So apologize for any wrong dates or names or facial features. The point is, they discarded the pages almost. A lot of pages. And it was then discovered that these are pages that came from the Bible. The Bible. Yeah. Because year 400, I believe, 400 years after death, AD, Emperor Constantine figured out he was going to do something to the Bible, so he ripped out the pages. Those pages basically explained how to gain answers to your dreams, how to get the universe to answer your dreams. And it was very simple. It was just feeling as if you already achieved it, seeing it as already happened, really having a clear picture and a very strong emotional investment in the fact that you're already grateful for having achieved it. It sounds weird. If you have not achieved it, then wouldn't it be faking it to feel like you have it when you don't? Not really, because you're using visualization to see it. You're using your vision, and how you feel based on what you see in your head should be completely up to you and not some god. The thing is, that recipe, St. Thomas Gospel, or the Gospel of St. Thomas, it was a recipe for manifestation and how to get the things that you want, get your prayers answered. It's currently 5:35 a.m. Thank you very much. It's interesting how they removed such an important chapter, right? Today they are displayed in the Museum of Cairo, actually. They're right there. People can just go and look at it, but most people don't know that they exist, so of course, most people are not going to really think about the fact that they can change their life through sitting down and seeing where they want to go and then doing it. I'm sorry for how many times you have been forced to look for those. Do it. You who took action to do that. Did that count? I'm not sure. But this is going to be a hell of a project. A hell of a thing. It has been, actually, no, it's been 2 days. So I think that this is going to be very interesting to see develop, because I feel like I want to have sort of this thing throughout Saga that is accompanying the text, it's accompanying the resources and the videos. This is just a little icing on the cake. But with that said, I like this, by the way. Check this out. This is going to be continued in Saga, Chapter 1.
The Call of the Legacy Forger.
I figured, I'm not done developing this, but then again, I've given away so many things for free, so I've stopped doing that. This is going to be perfected, not even perfected. I want people to be adding insights to this, so that it's always going to be developed and just becoming better and better and better. That's why I'm not going to continue developing the entire thing myself. I want this to be influenced by the people inside of Saga. And currently we only have 5 people going through the Saga. 5 people have taken me up on the lifetime access offer, which is $100. It's $100, which is going to be, I would actually say that I have never seen a program with the depth that this is going to have. And that excites me, because I'm trying to build something that has not been seen in the world yet. Something that is completely new, because I'm not doing things the way everyone says they should be done. I think that you should do things because they inspire you. And if you do that, then do it for long enough and your inevitable success is going to come. And I have reached that. So I figured, why not just continue to see how this will impact more people? Life is an adventure. I have so much more to comprehend as I go through all these things and just keep on adding. If this was interesting, as I mentioned, this is going to be before you even start the saga. This is just like the pre-framing. So if you got value right now, I just want to be very open and transparent with you that Saga will be €100 per month starting July 1st. And I can't stop that because I automated it. Right now there's a code. I think it's called Saga Early Bird or something. You can see that on the landing page on saga.theseppola.com. Should have had that under there, note to self. But all these things can be read on that landing page. And it's literally a program that I have no idea what's going to become. I just know that I'm going to use technology of today, and I have very huge plans on creating one of the, if not the best community on planet Earth. Good goals. Good to have something to strive for. I hope that this was valuable. 50 minutes is a long time for some. Other people would probably be sitting there taking notes. And if you did that, if you're still watching this, I see you. And I can't wait to meet you. Don't think that, Saga is the only thing that can get you inside of this whole universe. Just go to thelegacyforge.com. That's a free community, and you're going to see a whole bunch of other like-minded people in there. I think we're 80-ish now. And I have 7,000 other people that I'm trying to get into their heads what this is, because they have kind of assumed, and it's interesting to be called a cult leader in the group that you've created. It's a lot of story, a lot of experience, and a lot of insights and fun freaking times that is awaiting inside of this. And if you like to play the game of life, if you really like adventures and just going out there and living your own authentic, true, ultimate self, your truth, if you like that, then this is the place for you. Then you are
a legacy forger.
And you should come in and join your
Tribe.
Inside of the amazing and growing in amazingness.
The Legacy Forge.
God damn. Things are happening so fast. It's now 5:40 a.m. Thank you for your time. I love your face. And I will undoubtedly see you in the next one. Don't you think?